But that being said, you guys ready for some tight ends?
Let's do it.
Pause.
Yeah, what?
Whoa, family. Family.
I mean, I'm ready for them.
Phil, you know the drill. Come on, Phil.
I sling heavy pickle.
That's a good one, too.
That was actually that.
Let's rock. Let's rock, baby. Let's rock.
There we go.
Yeah, let's
There
get
we
it
go.
cracking out here.
Top 10 tight ends. Point per reception leagues, PPR. All right. Same structure as last week. I'm going to give it to Nick first this week, and you're going to give me your list. We're going to pass it off to Mike. You're going to come back to me, and then we're going to discuss everyone's reasoning.
Okay.
Okay? Audience, all right? P&I audience, I want you guys to comment as much as possible with questions, or you could talk your shit and take a dump on our lists. And yeah, like give us your feedback and we'll get to as many comments as possible, okay? Thank you very much in advance. Nick, take it away.
Yeah, let's roll. So my top 10 tight ends, I'm going to start with number 10 to 1. I got Mike Gesicki. 9, Noah Fant. 8, Robert Tonyan. 7, Logan Thomas. 6, TJ Hawkinson. 5, Kyle Pitts. 4, Mark Andrews. 3, George Kittle. 2, Darren Waller. And number 1, Travis Kelce. Bottom line.
Attaboy. Smart man again.
It's a no-brainer.
Smart man again.
Yeah.
Invest in the Chiefs, guys. Mike, take it away.
All right, so number 10, I have Robert Tonyan. Number 9, I have Mike Gesicki. Number 8, I have Tyler Higbee. Number 7, I have Noah Fant. Number 6, I have TJ Hawkinson. Number 5, I have Mark Andrews. Number 4, I have Kyle Pitts. Number 3, I have Darren Waller. Number 2, I have George Kittle. And number 1, Travis Kelce.
All right.
Okay. I got
Interesting.
questions for you.
Interesting. All right, so number 10 for me, Tyler Higbee. Number 9, Robert Tonyan. Number 8, Noah Fant. Number 7, TJ Hawkinson. Number 6, Dallas Goedert. Number 5, Mark Andrews. Number 4, Kyle Pitts. Number 3, George Kittle. Number 2, Darren Waller, the baller. Number 1, Travis Kelce, the obvious. All right,
Absolutely.
where should we start?
I want to start where the hell you have Goddard at 6.
Let me tell you one thing, Nick, right away. 9th last year in PPR points per game with Jalen Hurts as a starter. Target share, I believe, was in the top 10 as well. That's the biggest reason. Also, well, here's the thing. One concern right there,
Ertz.
okay? Yes and no.
That's why he's not on my list.
My
Yeah, me too.
concern, I don't know if you guys saw, I was going to wait till the end of the show, but Tyree Jackson, the little wonder who, well, he's not little, he's a 6'8" beast, quarterback turned tight end that I thought for sure was making the Eagles 53-man roster. He now has, let me see, it's a long-term injury, so he's going to be out for a while.
8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, I believe it was 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah. He has a fractured bone in his back.
Yep, 8 to 10 weeks. He landed hard in the end zone or something.
Yeah.
Really sad to hear that. But that, to me, eliminates any chance that the Eagles are going to trade Zach Ertz before the season starts. I think he might be a trade deadline kind of guy. So he's sticking around, and he should be productive. Let me remind you guys that everybody and anybody that's been at Eagles camp has been reporting that the tight ends have all looked amazing. Goddard and Ertz. Yes, so that is a concern for me. But I definitely want to point out that Goddard was a guy that Hurts looked to all the time. And the tight end position is still relatively weak. Like, it's deeper this year, but we don't have a lot of top-heavy guys. So that 6 to 10 range, I feel like, could be very interchangeable right now.
Okay.
So it's part talent, it's part opportunity, and it's part, I think that he leaned on him a lot.
Yeah, I just feel like 6 is kind of high. I mean, I like Logan Thomas. I'm surprised you don't have him in your top 10.
No Logan Thomas. He was really close for me. I have him at 11 probably, if you ask me right now. Either him or Mike Gesicki. Biggest concern with Gesicki for me, because I know you both had him on your list,
Yeah.
is Tua. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned about Tua, but at the same time, I think Gesicki gets a lot of targets.
He's just inconsistent week to week, though. And it's not him. I think it's just an offense thing. It's Tua and it's the offense.
And I think with Tua, for me, the reason I had him there, I'm not a Tua fan, obviously you guys know.
Yeah.
My thing with Gesicki is young quarterbacks tend to rely on that security blanket.
Typically, yes.
So I
I'm not
feel like the
denying
targets
that.
would be there. Because I don't know if Tua can push the ball down the field.
But that's the thing for me.
Well, he
is
was
like,
ranked 7th last year.
Yeah.
Gesicki.
He also
a
had
great year.
Fitzpatrick, though.
Yeah, he did, and that's why I have.
I
Logan
loved
Thomas.
him with Fitzpatrick. I loved him.
And that's why I have Logan Thomas at 7. He had 110 targets last year.
That's understandable.
That's volume right there.
I had him, it was between him and Tanyan for me at number 10. Logan Thomas and Tanyan.
I'm not going to argue that either, by the way. Like, Thomas should have a great year.
I'm a fan of him, actually. I think he's gonna have a
Fitzpatrick
big
definitely
year.
likes the tight end. And there is an opportunity there. He's got nobody behind him. He's an active pass catcher in that offense. The offense could be low-key underrated. I don't know if they'll be consistent week to week. But, yeah, he broke out in a pretty big way last year. So I'm not going to argue that. Like, he's neck and neck right there.
And look, I don't put too much stock into preseason, but when I watched the Dolphins last week in week 1, Tua was relying on Gesicki a lot. And he actually had a nice big play of 50 yards, and he can run after the catch.
He's a stud.
Yeah, I think he's great. That's why I have him in my top 10, honestly.
I mean, the ability's there. There's not even a question about that. But that's the same thing, though. Like 6 through 10, for me, like the ability is definitely there. It's just like, how much can you count on so and so? To me, I think that at least we saw Hurts and Goddard have a connection, whereas Tua we're a little iffy on. Let's see. We had Hawkinson. I had Hawkinson at 7.
So what you're saying is 6 to 10 is like interchangeable per se.
They could be, but
Okay.
I went with the guys who I think will get the most opportunity as well as a combination of their talent. And I think Goddard's just taken off in a big way this
You
year.
didn't have Logan Thomas in your top 10, did you?
No, I had Robert Tanyan over him.
So I had him at
Not
9.
bad.
What's up?
That's not terrible.
That was the only reason for me is like I think he gained Rodgers' trust last year, and they're a high-scoring offense, and he got the red zone targets. What?
Expect negative regression in the touchdown department. He's not going to have 11.
Correct.
But that doesn't mean he's going to disappear all of a sudden.
And not for nothing, you could make an argument for Gronk in that area too.
Yeah.
But it's just their
loaded,
wide
man.
receivers are so loaded. I don't know
and
how much
they're-
volume he's
Well,
going
they
to
got
still got
Bray and
O.J.
Howard.
Howard.
Yeah, they got Bray and Howard.
That's what I'm saying. They're even loaded at tight end.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, he'll be a red zone option at least. We can count on that. But Tunyon, I mean, he's just a big target in the red zone. The Packers didn't really add any other receiving weapons, and yes, he gained Aaron Rodgers' trust. And this is not just an Aaron Rodgers here, like the MVP from last year. This is a motivated guy who wants to prove like I'm the fucking man still, and like this team needs me, kind of thing. And we didn't talk about this last week. I thought it would come up, but we just assumed like, all right, he's always going to be top of the rankings, Aaron Rodgers. But I thought one of us would mention like, we all think he's going to be the fucking man this year, right?
I think he's going to be awesome. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder.
I mean, you even say it, Mike. You had
Yeah.
him top 3, right?
Yeah, I have
This is
number
a known
3.
Aaron Rodgers hater right here.
Yeah, the biggest. And I think he's going to have an awesome year this year. I really do.
Like, do you want to fuck with that guy when he's on a mission?
No.
Because I don't.
So let me ask you guys, who in your top 5 that you are most worried about?
None.
I have one, Mark Andrews.
You're worried about him?
I'm worried. I'm worried. I mean, last year he had 88 targets. He was ranked 4th last year, but I'm just worried about Baltimore's offensive weapons. I think a lot of people are going to key on him. They're going to stack the box, like I said on Monday.
You love that logic. Oh, man. You say
it's
that
true.
a lot.
The fucking Titans did it in the playoffs 2 years ago, and it worked.
That's one team, though.
I seen it last week.
Yeah, real shit though. It worked.
I'm just going to point out one thing.
It's
though.
a blueprint to stop them, Matt. And I think I'm worried about Mark Andrews. So I mean, I could see Logan Thomas having a monster year.
It's a blueprint that only worked for that one team
I know, but no Marquise Brown, no Bateman.
for now. And yes, that's a loss. But don't you think that would translate into a larger target share for Mark Andrews,
Yes,
who already does have it? He has the target share and he has the red zone targets. He's
Yes.
one of the biggest red zone weapons in the league.
Yes and no, because my thing is he had 88 targets, but he only had 58 catches, so 30 of them were
I
incomplete.
mean, he was nicked up last year too, a little bit. For the record.
I would say Andrews if I had to choose one, but I mean,
too.
for me, the first 4 that I have, I think they are concrete.
Yeah,
Me too.
Now, yeah, now that order may change a little bit given the team's I guess, how they're doing in the year. But for me, those 4 are concrete.
Well, one of you guys had Andrews ahead of Pitts. Who was it?
I did.
Yeah, you had him at 4, right?
Yeah.
Because to me, I think my top 4, I think Pitts is glue at 4, maybe even 3.
I won't be surprised.
At 3?
Possibly.
So look,
Like over Kittle?
Possibly. And the thing is, I was changing Kittle and Waller back and forth for me.
I was too. I'm not gonna lie. I like Kittle at 2, but Waller, his targets are just out of this world. 145 targets last year. 145.
I love that you said that. I love that you
and
said
he had
that.
the same amount of targets as Kelsey.
That's exactly my logic. I'm going to piggyback right here, okay? 4th highest target share in the NFL.
Yeah.
Waller the baller. 28% target share. You think that's going to change? Hell no.
Absolutely
They
not.
lost Nelson Aguilar. I mean, they lost weapons.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that it's going to stay right there. They figured out, we got to feed this guy. There was 9 games where he had 15-plus points last year. He led all tight ends with 22 red zone targets. That's the ninth most in the NFL at 9.1 targets per game. So that is why I chose him over Kittle, because he literally is the Raiders' offense. They run the offense through him, and Kittle's on a team that is just loaded. So he will be a beast.
And I'm not worried about Kittle's production either. It's just last year he got hurt, right? And San Fran's offense, like Kyle Shanahan's whole system, runs through the tight end. Because last year when he got hurt, Jordan Reed was balling a little bit before he got concussed for the 10th time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, their offense runs through tight end. So I'm not worried about Kittle at all.
No, not even a little bit. I think he could, these are guys that could easily, those 3 could easily finish 1, but Travis Kelce just God.
Well, yeah. Plus his
Travis
quarterback.
Kelce is so good that he would rank in the top 10 wide receivers. I might even have that stat here.
Right.
Actually, yeah, I do.
Now, my thing is, I don't know if I would say that one of the Travis, Kittle, or Waller would slip out of the top 3, but I believe that Pitts is going to be a monster year, especially with those 2 wide receivers on the outside. I think he could creep up into that 2 or 3 range.
I'll give you a reason why, but go ahead.
The Falcons' head coach is Arthur Smith. Mm-hmm. Do you know what his position was prior to this for the last 2 years?
Former tight end coach.
And
offensive coordinator.
And a quarterback's coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he saved and revived Ryan Tannehill. And now he's working with Kyle Pitts. And he was the reason that Jonnu Smith broke out.
Thank you very much.
So I think Pitts, I think Pitts is in a perfect position to succeed and succeed expectations to where, just a dominant tight end.
To add on to that, Mike.
Ferkser.
Because I was going to bring up that exact point, okay? The Titans last year under Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator, okay? The Titans were 3rd in tight end target share and tight end red zone targets last season.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Atlanta's just not that good. They're going to be in a lot of games where they have to throw coming from behind. The run game is still suspect. So that offense literally might run through him and Ridley. I mean, he's got that ability where he can slide out wide, too. So I think that he's going to be featured right out of the gate.
Gage isn't bad either.
No.
He's gonna need somebody out there.
Their offense will score points.
Yeah.
And I think Matt Ryan, I see a lot of people saying he'll probably have a down year. I think he'll be consistent.
Well, they still have Ridley.
Yeah.
He's a baller.
Yeah. So you got Ridley and Pitts, and I mean,
they got Mike Davis
offensive line's still pretty good.
They got Mike Davis too. Not saying that he's going to be that crazy, but he's at least. I think he could be respectable to the point where you're not just going to forget about him. Like
he should be an
Wendell
upgrade.
Smallwood.
He should be an upgrade, right?
Yes.
Well,
So,
yeah. Last year they had who? Todd Gurley. I
yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. He can catch the ball too. So I mean, that's an outlet for Matt Ryan. So I think the offense will score plenty of points. It's just that the defense kind of worries me, and that's why they'll be throwing the ball a ton. They already do.
Who's your sleeper tight end outside of your top 10?
Outside of the top 10. My sleeper tight end was Tyler Higbee.
Okay.
Who most people don't have in the top 10.
I don't.
I do.
I can explain that.
I have number 8.
Do you want me to give you that right now?
Shoot.
All right. The reasoning for this: Gerald Everett is now on the Seahawks. That could be a sleeper, by the way, Nick.
Been screaming.
But look what Stafford did with T.J. Hockenson last year. So he does like to look there. Like when he actually has tight end talent, he does look there. That's one. 5 games without Gerald Everett in 2019. This is like playoff run, okay? I want to remind you guys of this. I want to remind the audience. Higbee averaged 11.4 targets per game, 21.4 points per game, and he basically literally won fantasy titles for everybody that year because he was so good in the playoffs. So that's one thing. That's
Ant had him.
so you see the theme here.
Regular.
You see where I'm going with this? In 5 games last year where he had at least 5 targets, he averaged 14.6 point per game. So what does this translate to? When he gets the work, he produces. And it's not like he can't play. It's just he wasn't used that much last year, and he didn't have the role to himself.
And to piggyback on that, in Hawkinson's final season with the Lions, he had 101 targets, second on the team, and 5th in the NFL among tight ends.
Massive.
So he did it with Brandon Pettigrew, Eric Ebron, TJ Hawkinson. Matt Stafford goes to his tight end. And now Higbee is the only tight end in Los Angeles.
And he's pretty good.
Well, Pettigrew, what the fuck did he do? I mean, like,
Oh, there
seriously.
he is again.
No, seriously,
Yeah,
what did he do?
But he was still getting the
Ebron
targets.
was
collected a
good.
check.
Ebron was good, but he was just injury prone. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so what you're saying is Stafford is the reason why you have Higbee in your
It's
top
that,
10?
and it's opportunity. I mean, they lost Josh Reynolds too, so that's something that's little something. I think that Van Jefferson might be a sleeper, by the way, at wide receiver in deeper leagues. So, but like I said,
Well, my sleeper is going to be Anthony Ferkser, straight up. Like I said, the Titans are loaded. They can run the football. They have Julio, and they have A.J. Brown on the outside. I see the seams opening up, and like you said, the Titans go to their tight ends.
I mean, no
And
Arthur
Tannehill
Smith.
does. That's what he does.
So no Arthur Smith, but Tannehill still
Is-
has
yeah,
proven he likes to
he's in
throw
my
there.
top 10,
It don't
yeah.
matter that there's a change there.
That's
I'm not really
ingrained in
worried
him
about
now.
it.
That's what he knows.
Exactly. So I think he's a good sleeper.
Yeah,
Good
I mean,
sleeper
and then
target.
like when Johnny Smith went down last year, he actually rose to the occasion. I was looking at him like, damn, this guy's scoring like every week. Even in the playoffs against
Yep.
the Patriots, he scored.
A sleeper in deep leagues could be Dawson Knox, too.
Dawson Knox.
I mean,
I liked him for sure.
they should trade for Zach Ertz of all people.
He
They
would
really
be
should.
a monster on there.
It would be a perfect fit because I don't think the ability is gone. I think last year was just a really, really screwed up year all the way around with the Eagles. And yes, he was hurt. And yes, he kind of lost his job. So, it was kind of a screwed up thing. This
I have
guy
a-
who 2
I have a
years
question
ago.
for you guys, though.
Go ahead.
Who do you guys like more, Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith on New England?
Smith.
Johnny Smith, because he's healthy. Hunter Henry gets injured a lot, I feel like.
Smith being the more, I would say probably the speedier and more athletic guy, but that doesn't mean I think that he's a better player. I just think that you can at least trust he'll be on the field. Because that's always been the argument with Hunter Henry. He could be a top 5 guy every year.
Oh, yeah,
a
he's
stud.
awesome. Yeah. And they paid him like it, too.
Yeah, they paid both of them.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money there, and I could really honestly see them both performing well. It's just a scene where we need to see how it sifts out. We need to know who the quarterback's going to be. And right now, I'm thinking that it's got to be Mac Jones.
It's going to be Mac Jones.
It's got to be.
Dude,
Cam Newton, check down king, is getting trashed by the Eagles DBs.
Here's the thing, though.
You hear that?
Here's the thing. If Mac Jones starts and he does poor and the Patriots bench him, what's that do for him moving forward? You just
Reset.
you can't.
Mac
You,
wins.
you wasted a top 15 overall pick. You can't. You can't.
You
just
got to
reset.
learn if he can play.
I don't think Belichick is the type to do that, though. He didn't do it with Drew Bledsoe.
I think they prefer that Cam starts, but I just don't think he has it anymore. I think he's a solid backup who can win some games in this league, but he's no longer Cam MVP. He's no longer Cam starting quarterback.
I can't believe they signed him back.
I don't mind that at all. With the money they paid him and being able to run the system, having a guy there that has been there, done that, and he is a leader. We can't knock that. I mean, I would assume that they would like for him to start though, but it's pretty clear at this point that Mac is better, and I'd take my shot there. I mean, they invested a top 15 pick. That's a little better than having to invest a top 10 pick. So, what are you going to do? You got to find out if he can play at some point.
I think Cam's going to start the season just because of the reason I said.
And if they do that, I mean, this is Bill Belichick here. Does he want to lose games? I don't think so. I think that he trusts this. Remember, this is Nick Saban, his guy. He trusts Mac Jones, probably. I would assume.
Yeah, but the people and the Patriots players respect Cam Newton. They're going to play for him.
I don't doubt that at all either.
Yeah.
But
I
ability
just think he's going to start. I
not
think
to
he'll
go
start
into
the
that
season.
argument.
Yeah.
I wanted to say one thing though about Travis Kelce. Okay,
Monster.
I was holding this for you guys.
Pause.
This is exactly what we were talking about a few minutes ago. His PPR points per game last season would have had him finish 11th overall at quarterback, 3rd at running back, and 3rd at wide receiver. That's how good this guy is. He finished as the tight end 1 every single year since 2016. Every single year. I got more. At least 14 fantasy points in 13 of his 15 outings last year. There's more. 20 or more points in 10 of those games. He's unbelievable. He's putting up quarterback production at tight end. That's unbelievable.
Let me ask you a question.
He's investable. Like I was a guy I would never consider, like even when Gronk was in his prime, I will never take a tight end first 2 rounds. This is glaring, guys. You might have to consider him. I would say late 2nd round. I'm not that type of guy though.
So would you say who's better, Gronk or Kelce in their prime?
I think Kelsey's a more complete player. But Gronk as a receiving option, probably I would still give the nod right now.
Okay. I think overall Gronk is way better.
It's getting close.
He could block, and he was just a force. The Patriots had no wide receivers, so he was getting a lot of attention, and he was still crushing everybody.
It's getting closer though.
Fucking
we have
spiking
to
on their
acknowledge
ass
this. Like
every fucking week.
Kelsey probably has a number of years left in his prime, so we have to at least acknowledge it could be close in a year or two. It's possible. At this pace, it's unbelievable. I mean, he's doing things that's never happened before with 1,000-yard seasons, back to back to back. No one's done that at the tight end position, and he's got the volume.
I don't think
You know,
I don't think Kelce will ever pass Gronk for me.
I know you love Gronk. I know
love
you
Gronk.
do, and I do too. I
love
do
Gronk.
too.
He's-
Real fast.
I loved him even on the pads.
Hold on. I like what James just said. Kelsey for fantasy, Gronk in real life.
Because James thinks that Gronk is a more well-rounded
I did that
tight
too,
end.
dude.
He can block and he can catch, like I said. He gets open. He'll take hits. He don't give a fuck. He will. He takes a beating. And guess what? Still here. And he won a ring last year.
And he was important.
Screen
I mean,
that.
he came up clutch in the big games. So, one other guy though, guys, that I want to touch on that we referenced last week, and this is before we move on, and maybe a couple more questions will come in. Audience, make sure you ask your questions because we're going to move on in a few minutes. But we were talking about Noah Fant last week, and I think that you guys had him in your top 10.
9.
9 for you. I had him at 7.
I have it
8.
7.
I had him at 8. But key thing with him was just health. The opportunity was already there. The ability was clearly there. He might be the fastest tight end in the league. So I have no issue with that at all, regardless of quarterback, because he had a connection with Drew Lock even.
Yeah. And they get Cortland Sutton back. So I think that helps him.
It opens things up a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, the only thing with him is his touchdown production last year. He had 3 touchdowns,
Yeah.
which actually hurt his fantasy.
It should be better this year. I think he'll have a positive regression.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I'm not worried about him. He had 93 targets last year with inconsistent quarterback play. Who do you have? Who was his quarterback last year?
Kendall Hinton for one game.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I like Fant a lot. I think he's going to have a really good year.
I love his upside.
Yeah.
And I think there was one other guy. We talked about Hawkinson just last year, but this year, though, I think people might have some concerns. I want to address that real quick because I had him at 7, and some people might think I'm nuts for that. But no more Kenny Galladay, no more Marvin Jones, and Jared Goff loves the tight end. The team sucks. They'll be throwing a ton. Easy logic for me.
I think he's going to eat up
And
all
he's
the
a stud.
targets. I have exactly what you just said. I have written down.
Right.
Those are all the reasons why I think I have him at number 6. I know he finished 4 last year, so a slight drop off. But I mean, I think he's going to get who is Goff going to throw to?
Exactly.
Their line sucks. I mean, outside of DeAndre Swift, but I mean, I wouldn't even touch him at this point.
I agree with you, by the way, Mike. We got one comment here. This is the second time I've seen this now from Papa Pasillo and Will Haig. I thought Pepsi was sponsoring the show. Mike, what are you doing over there with a Coke can? Should I even respond to that?
You should address it.
Look, I would
It's
love.
true.
I would
It's
love.
facts.
Listen, I would love for Pepsi to endorse this show.
It's just
GPS him
straight
if he
facts.
needed dressing.
But I've always been a Coke guy.
Whoa.
Not that kind.
All right, just making sure.
Never. Not once. Not ever. But doesn't mean we wouldn't welcome it.
Audience, look out for Logan Thomas. Thank me later.
And I don't see any other questions. So that being said, if you guys have some questions that roll in a few minutes, I might give it some notice. Other than that, though, there's your top 10 tight ends.